CAT for me is not just common admission test. It is competition, assessment, and time management. These are three of the most important factors that I believe if you are able to crack, you would have cracked the code for CAT. In this video, we will discuss how you can crack these three things, these three factors, how can you overcome these three factors, and if you do, it would enable you to crack CAT and you would be able to score really, really well in CAT examination that would be held in 30 days from now. So let's discuss each of these points one by one. The first important point is the competition. Competition, when I say you're competing with the cream of the country. At the graduation level, people would have appeared for IIT exam, people would have appeared for NEET exam, and a lot of other exams as well. And if you do well in those exams, you get into these prestigious institutions and do your graduation. But after your graduation, what do? A huge lot of people who have done their graduation from IIT or people who have studied at AIMS, they eventually compete for MBA seats at IIMs and then they sit for CAT examination. So you are competing with 2 to 3 lakh people every year who are appearing for CAT. You're competing with those people. So the competition is one of the biggest factors that decides whether you would be able to score well in CAT or not, because you're not competing with general public, you're competing with the best of the best already, because they've already cracked some of the biggest exams and then they are sitting for one of the toughest exams in the country. So competition is a huge factor. Number 2, assessment. Now you are not being assessed in general. This is not your BCom, BBA exam. You are being assessed in competition to what others have done in that exam. So let me give you an example. For an example, you sat for CAT and gave 100 out of, let's say, 120 questions, you gave correct answers to them and you scored 80 percentile. And there was another person who got, let's say, 103 questions right out of 120 questions. And that person got 90 percentile. You would be like, that person only got 3 extra questions right compared to me. And his percentile or her percentile is 10 percentile more than me. It is those questions that make the difference. Because let's say everyone got, or a huge percentage of people got 100 questions right, just like you, but very few people actually got 3 or 4 questions right out of the rest of the 20 questions. So it is comparative. It is not just you being scored on the number of questions that you have got right. It is how many you got right in comparison to other 2 lakh, 3 lakh people who appear for the exam. So assessment part of CAT becomes a huge factor, and that you need to know when you're preparing for this exam. Number 3, and for me, I believe this is the most important factor because CAT is designed considering this factor, and that factor is time management. CAT would deliberately give you those questions which they want you to attempt, and they know that you would not be able to get an answer to those questions because they want you to waste your time. So CAT, if you look at it, it is as much an exam of getting the questions right as it is of neglecting or kind of evaluating which are the questions that you don't have to attempt. After just looking at it in one single glance, you should know that this is the question that I should not be attempting because it would be time consuming and I may or may not get an answer to it. Rather attempt those questions that you are very, very confident that you think you would be able to manage within time and you're not wasting time. I will share my example. When I cracked CAT, I was able to finish my CAT examination in about 70% of the time that was allotted. You know why? Because I knew that rest of the questions I don't even have an answer to, and I can't even go ahead and attempt those questions. The questions that I could attempt, I attempted and left rest of the questions. Then I came to those questions which I had not attempted, and I started eliminating those questions that I just could not attempt at all. And I got 2 to 3 questions right from those questions that I knew that I would not be able to attempt at all. So I didn't focus on those questions that I knew would take a lot of time and then I would be under pressure and I would not be able to get those questions right, which I know at the beginning that I will be able to do it. We tend to spend more time on things that would not actually help us at the end rather than spending on questions that we know that we would be able to get them right. So focus on getting those questions right first that you know that you would be able to get right, rather than focusing on those questions that you know at the beginning only or at the first glance that it would be difficult if I attempt this question and it would take away a lot of time. This is just one example out of my own personal experience. I'm sure there would be a lot of people who would have already prepared for this exam. They can also share their own, different experiences in the comment section, so that people who are going to appear for this exam in 30 days from now, they can get some help out of it. Now, if you have followed my previous video, which I made on how I cracked CAT in 2006, I mentioned that you should be appearing for FLT. So now we are left with 30 days. Today we are sitting on 30th October, and 30th November is when the next exam, when CAT is going to happen. So you have 30 days left. Start doing FLTs if you haven't already started doing FLTs, because that would change how you look at CAT completely. Now that you know these three factors, using these factors, attempt these full length test examinations, because now you would look at CAT from these three factors as well. You would look at eliminating questions, you would look at managing your time properly, you would look at how you are being assessed in comparison to other people, and you would know that you are competing with some of the best people in the country. So this is what I wanted to kind of convey in this particular video. And if there are comments that you have, if there are questions that you have in your mind, please go ahead and comment in our comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe it as well. Thank you very much.